Awesome. Okay,
hello everybody. It's us.
Yep.
From Mama Santee's house.
That's right.
Mama Santee and friends.
That's right.
We're just kind of waiting for people to get online. Hello, I'm Mama Santee.
Yep.
These are my beautiful friends.
Hello.
This is...
I am Danielle Lee, 333.
Love it. Hi, I'm Kristen Joy.
Yes, she is. That's
Yay!
right.
And so today we are super excited to be here with y'all. Our topic today is
what we had to experience or do to become healers.
Yes.
Yes.
So what we had to do or experience to become healers.
Yes.
How do you find your healer,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens when a healer keeps you dependent on them.
That's right.
So that's what we want to talk about today. So,
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I love how we have our spirit friends here already tapping on the doors and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
That's fun.
It's go time.
Yes.
So here we go.
So I'm going to jump right in.
Let's do it.
So I don't know if anyone out there follows Joe Dispenza. He starts off with, we need to be the initiator of our health, right? And we're in a time now that we're experiencing the integration of body, mind, and spirit, and what that looks like, right? Because if we're only treating the symptom and we're only treating the surface, we're not getting to the root cause. And whenever there is a manifestation in the body that is not in alignment, or it's not in harmony, or your body is unable to heal itself, it's usually rooted in the spirit first. So to bring that up, as far as what Joe Dispenza says, we are the initiators of our health, right? We need to be initiates, right? And it's not a time, like the time that we're in, and the way the world is unfolding right now, this timeline for all of us, it's not a time just to know, but it's a time to know how.
Yeah.
And so the perspective is, when you are going through your own health journey and you are being an advocate, right, proactive for your health, and you have to go through all of this process of being able to come into alignment with what that looks like with your body. So you start to manifest these experiences that actually empower you in your own health. And what the wonderful thing is about this is we're all unique and different, no two alike. So what works for me may not work for Santee, or may not work for Kristen, but it works for me. So it's a concept that as we go through these processes, we become healers. We understand that these elements in our body are manifested through something that is not in harmony, that's not in synchronicity or synchronized with our body, mind, and spirit.
Right. So the healer, in essence, activates you to heal yourself. You have to advocate for your healing.
That's right.
And that's why, say you go to a healer for some healing and it was just a terrible experience, you know, that also is for you.
That's right.
To learn and advocate for yourself and to heal yourself, because what a healer is doing is not healing you.
Yeah. No.
The healer is not healing you.
We're just holding the space. We're holding the space and creating that trust and just being the mirror until you learn your body's language.
Right.
Until you can start to decipher all that your body's communicating to you and saying that we need some adjusting here, or this energy isn't jiving with you, or like you're going into work, let's say, and it's a toxic environment, and daily that you're just creating this fight or flight state where the body's literally in a fight or flight state. You're tapping into the adrenals, you're doing all of this, creating cortisol in your system, all of this because you can't stand the energy that's happening at work. All this comes into alignment. So as Santee was saying, that you go to see a healer and it's a horrible experience, that in itself is teaching you about your own energy.
Exactly, because your energy has to jive and flow with the healer. That's why it's ideal to interview your healers first.
Totally.
If you could go in, and if you could go in and talk to your healer, or you want to research them, you want to check them out, you want to see their experience, or even just talk to them to feel into their energy. Because one healer isn't for everyone.
That's right. And I want to broaden this this conversation to healer, practitioner, or what's the other word I was thinking of?
Guide.
Yeah, or guide. Anything that falls along those lines, right? And there's so much out there right now. There's so much of a need because everyone's coming online. Everyone's experiencing a certain awakening, having a heightened awareness, right? That they are body, mind, and spirit. So there's so much out there, but how do you find your healer that works for you? Right? So again, we're going to go from this topic of we each individually had our own experience, right? And came to the understanding that we are the creator of our own reality. And this is through the process of going through our healing process, right? Becoming empowered in our own health, taking responsibility in that. And then we became magnetic. We attracted what was the next step. And this is the process of body, mind, and spirit and the integration of it.
Right.
So I feel like this is what good healers, good practitioners help their clients to do. Everything that you guys have both just shared, and it's all up to us to do our own healing. Our healers are holding space for us to heal ourselves because our bodies, they heal themselves. So I think that's really important to look for when you're researching or trying to find someone whose energy you connect with. That a consistent message that I have found across the people that I go to for my healing and my guidance and help is I'm just holding space. You are really doing the work. So I think that's super important to find people who have that same message, and not just the message, but the intention and the energy and the action behind doing what they say.
I think that's so important. Yeah. With setting the intention and the action, absolutely. Because like Mama Santi, what she's all about is heal yourself, heal the world. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to tap into that we are all connected in that way, and not keeping someone stuck or stagnant in their body's ability to heal itself. So there's all this going on. We can talk about heart, brain, and gut coherence, right? Alignment, right? And we can go ahead.
Right. Well, I just want to interrupt you really quick because what happens too is like when I go in for healing with you or one of my healers, we're like holding that intention. So intention is super important.
That's right.
Before you start your session,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because you're going to be pulled into a frequency and you're going to come to a barrier or a block, perhaps, and we're going to want to identify what that is together, or you are going to want to identify that. I'm going to want to identify that with myself so that we can move through that block or barrier to come into an alignment.
Yes. Yes. And I also want to clarify, it's not like we're coming from an ego mindset when we call ourselves healers. We're not, it's a term. It's just a term. And like I said, like practitioner, therapist, healer, right? Or guide. And it's just the assistance of being able to hold that space. And one of my favorite phrases that I would always say is that when love is in the room, healing has to manifest. And so a lot of times when we aren't feeling good in our body, and our circumstance is reflecting that outside in our everyday life, us not feeling good is like projected into our everyday life, right? And you just don't feel good. But then when you come to see someone who is able to do this for themselves. They're able to hold space, hold it well. And what I mean by that is the energy field around them, they're able to self-regulate. They're able to come into alignment, and they're able to hold that space for someone else. And that is no judgment zone, holding the space of love and what that looks like. That's the invitation that a healer, practitioner, or therapist or guide, that's the energy they're able to hold. Right. So I just wanted to clarify the term healer, that it's not coming from an ego, like we need the little name that I'm a healer, like all sitting on my shirt. No, that's not what this is. This is the path and the journey that I was on has allowed me to come to this understanding, to put these things into practice, right? Because the body does go through cycles and seasons. We go through these cycles, yes. Right? Just as the earth goes through its cycles and its seasons, we too go through that. And so some of us are very in tune and aligned with nature, with Mother Gaia, and how she flows and knows how to articulate that, and how our body is correlating that, basically, in a nutshell.
And what I love, something that you've told me is in the terms of, calling ourselves healers.
Yes.
It's simply doing what we've done, the practices that I've learned and that I do, mostly consistently,
yes.
To heal myself. Those become the things that I am now able to teach and help someone else with. Mm-hmm. So
that's right.
When you start to do that and you live that that way, other people might look at you and call you a healer.
Yeah, that's true. So how do you find your healer? And this is an important thing. So I always say, put it out there, put it out to the universe, put it out there to God. Set the intention to find your healer, someone that is going to be able to hold that space for you, and watch it happen, watch it unravel, watch the signs and synchronicities. And it's amazing because for what I do, I never advertise, but yet people found me, and they found me specifically in the perfect time that they needed to find me. And we have so many stories to go around that. But what I also want us to discuss is healers, practitioners, therapists, or guides that are not holding that intention as far as activating you in your body's own ability to heal itself. What does that look like? They can potentially keep you stuck. So you could be going to a therapist and let's just say psychology, and along those lines, as far as everything that go with the mind and the emotion. And you're practicing that, they're facilitating based off of a book, and I'm not going to knock anything, but I'm just saying, and for long periods of time, I'm giving an example, long periods of time, you could be seeing this therapist and it feels like you're saying the same things over and over, but you're not healing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this could happen in all realms, in all aspects. Healers, practitioners, therapists, and guides. This can happen where they keep you stuck.
Happened to me.
That's right. Yeah. So what's happening there is they're keeping you in a victim consciousness. They're keeping you in a space of, that's right, lack and dependency.
Yeah, because a lot of times when we are going in for healing, like I hear it all the time, as soon as people step in through the door, they instantly feel relief.
That's right.
And so it's a lot of the mindset. What are we going to the healer for? Mm-hmm. And we want to implement what we gained from that session into our life so we can start making it a lifestyle. That's We're living this healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And then a good healer, if they're not the right healer for you, will refer you to someone who is, or if you don't seem to be benefiting from the sessions, you keep coming back in for the same things over and over and over again. it's time to think about that. Hey, wait a minute, I'm not progressing. I'm in a loop. Why?
That's right.
You know, why?
These are questions you want to ask yourself.
Right. Do I just feel good when I go there, so I just want to go there to feel good? Or am I literally doing the work to heal myself? And, you know, because we're like helping each other out, you know, as healers. We're assisting you, and we're educating you to implement the things in your lifestyle that are needed for growth. And if if we're just stuck in a loop where, you know, the healer's not assisting you to do that, they just keep you coming back, there's a loop going on.
That's right.
I think it's super important too, and in my experience, you know, if you do have a, you know, quote unquote negative experience also, there's a learning in that too. But I think it's super important not to put these, you know, professionals in, you know, a therapy case or healers as up on a pedestal.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it is how you give your power away to someone else.
Yes.
And coming back and remembering that we are the ones that hold our own power.
Yeah, that's right.
And so when you put all of that into someone else, that is, you know, you're seeking for everything outside of yourself. You're looking for someone to do for you.
That's right.
And opportunistic healers or professionals, they can see through that. They can see that, and they unfortunately, you know, take advantage of people. I've been in those situations, you know, in different levels of my healing, and that was a big lesson for me. Was, you know, I needed to go through that to understand what it was to give my power away. So that is something.
And
that's how we learn.
And that's the shift. Again, that's the shift that come from a lack or a victim consciousness into a creator consciousness. It's a literal shift, and it happens within you. So as Rumi said, all of the universe is already within you. Everything that you need to heal is already within you. Everything that you need to know is all within you. It's not outside of you. It's already within. And so what that looks like is a practitioner, healer, therapist, guide who understands that and truly embraces that and models that, right, is going to empower you to be the creator of your own life. So the manifestation of like the as above so the below concept, or the microcosm to the macrocosm, which is the same thing, right? The cause and the effect, which is one of the ancient laws of the universe, right? This is all it's an ancient law. When you put it into practice, you will manifest the healing. This is, and so what
in whatever way it needs to come through.
Exactly.
We can't, it's not going to be all butterflies or peaches and cream. Like whatever way that healing
That's right.
will come through, it will come through.
I've been sharing a lot of my healing journey with Kristen and Izzy, and Santi knows all of it, like forever. But I always say that I literally clawed my way to health. I literally clawed. I did not stop. I was like, no, I'm not going to be trapped in my body. I was born with epilepsy. I was diagnosed at 6 years old. I was on a ton of medication, and it's a really long story, which I'm going to save us, but from that. But
we'll do your story.
One day.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, but there was, my neurologist literally told my mom, and I was 6 years old, and I was sitting right there, that I would be handicapped for the rest of my life, and I wouldn't be able to get married, have kids, drive a car, or have my own business, which I did all that.
You're like,
and doing that still to this day. Yeah. So that's just an example. But hopefully this is making sense. Hopefully this brings inspiration and answers a lot of your questions when it comes to how do you find your healer? And what does that look like?
Yeah, and if you're here, you're already feeling that call, that pull for this kind of information.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because just like, you know, you have to interview your doctors. I think for the longest time we put those kind of people on pedestals and stuff like that. But now we're reeling it back in, and we're like, wait a minute, let's go ahead and interview our doctors, our healers, our guides, our pastors, our priests, our church, whatever, churches, you know, groups, meditation, stuff like that, to really see if the energy flows, you know, to really see if we feel pulled and called to go there, be there,
be a part of that.
Yeah, work with this person, because that's why it's about working together. It's not about working for you or anything like that.
And you know yourself and your body more than anyone else.
That's so true.
Exactly. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself.
That's right.
Even if you don't know what it is that's going on inside of you, you still know.
You do know. Yeah. That's right. And so we just help you connect the dots. We help you put the pieces of the puzzle together. We help it make sense. And I want to reiterate and touch more on what Kristen said, that we just don't know, because we're so programmed in this society to give our power away, especially when it has to do with our health.
Yes.
That there are big, huge gray areas when it comes to understanding how the body is able to heal and right itself. And so people go looking outside of them, and we can literally list this, like from doctors to, you know, the pharmaceuticals, and even if you go on to Instagram and Facebook and all the advertisements of supplements and all these things that are going to one and done cure you. Again, you're looking for something outside of you to bring wholeness when you have everything within. So that's the difference, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like really, really trusting yourself.
Yes.
Trusting your gut instinct. Trusting what your intuition is telling you.
That's right.
A lot of times we second guess ourselves, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we need to have those terrible experiences just so we know what it looks like, feels like inside of us, to know that, hey, this person isn't right for me, you know? And
we can do another one where we talk about the gut brain, but just as Santi just said about the gut, like our gut intuition tapping in, right? There's a reason why we have phrases that goes something like, it made me sick to my stomach, or I had a gut feeling.
Butterflies.
Or I have, butterflies in my... Okay, so the intrinsic nervous system, which is the nervous system from our throat all the way down to our anus, is, it literally holds over 500 million neurons, which are brain cell receptors. So just giving you... So when you're receiving, like, information, that vibration, you know, you intuitively know. So that's what we are accessing in order to create healing within the body or within oneself.
Super powerful.
Very, very much. So I always say, energy doesn't lie, people do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true. So true. So, how did you find your healers?
How did I find my healers? I was forced to find them. Through my health, I was one of those people who was searching outside of myself for somebody to help me, to cure me, to fix me, with a therapist, doctors, you know, wanting to, you know, they're like, here, take this medication. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to take this medication to make me feel better. And then it's causing a ruckus in my body. And then, you know, but then I was always drawn to the ancient methods of healing as well. And so it's almost like when I would start going to, you know, the doctors and, you know, nothing, I love my doctor now.
Yeah.
But I would always be presented with here we don't know what's going on, but here, and then a healer would present themselves, and then I would start going that route, and then they were like, wow, you have a gift, because I went to school for massage, and that really opened me up a lot, learning about, even though it's a fast-paced to the degree or certification, it still really opened me up, like, wow, there is something more inside of me. I do know the answers. Massage really helps you to be embodied. It helps you be in your body, and you can feel everything, and you can feel the flows and the rhythms of your body and your lymph and your blood and everything. So I think that the healer, like everybody says, like the teacher presents itself when the student is ready.
That's right.
That's the same thing with the healers.
Yes.
You know, the healer presents itself when the student is ready.
Yes.
And then when you're pretty much accomplished, you know, with one healer, I'm not saying it happens right away, but maybe it could.
Yes.
Time is of the essence. It
Yes.
doesn't exist.
Yes.
You know, then another healer will present itself, because there's the mind, body, and spirit.
That's right.
Of everything.
That's right.
The mind, the body, and the spirit. There's 3 to every one
That's
of those.
right.
And so that's why a team of healers is ideal. So then I started learning that, oh my gosh, it's not just one healer I have this whole team.
That's right.
So then another healer would present themselves, and then another, and they all correlated with each other.
That's right.
And then that's how I found my healers. And then, you know, one thing I really appreciate about Danielle Lee is she was always telling me, she's like, girl, they're gonna present themselves to you. You don't have to go paying for all these certifications and like going and like jumping into every single little thing. And boy, did I learn my lesson, because I was like, no, I really feel like I have to be certified in this, because, you know, when we do start tapping in, awakening and opening up and stuff, we really start to realize what our calling is and what we can really do and how much power we really have. So then I give my power away, and I was like, whoa. So in these classes, red flags were popping up, but I was like, oh, I'm just going to put out my protections and whatever. But I wasn't learning anything.
Yeah. No.
You know? And then she's like, girl, what are you doing? Somebody's going to present themselves to you, and it's going to be just a flow. You're not going to have to pay anything. You're not going to have to do. And sure enough, as soon as I said no and like whatever, they appeared, you know? So it's like, as long as we're like practicing being present in the stillness, in the 0 point, we're not like thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or what's gonna I need all these things.
Yes.
I gotta get all these things.
Yes.
You know, we're practicing being present. That's when we're creating this flow, the magnetism that Danielle was talking about
earlier.
Yeah.
Yes, for
you
sure.
know, I feel like too, when you work through those fears and the things that are going on in your head, you create that space for something like that to come in.
That's so true. So true.
Because that's why when you're also done with a healer, like there's nothing more you can do, or you're stuck in this loop.
Yes.
That's that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Amazing.
So it's interesting how when we release a thought, right? We release something that we thought we needed, right? And it doesn't resonate anymore.
Or a person or a situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Exactly. So when we release that, it's so important to say that we create that space within ourselves. We create the room for the new to come in.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so this goes with everything that we're talking about. It literally is a body, mind, and spirit experience and journey and progressive process that's happening. Yeah. And no two alike. No two alike, but yet we're all connected. Yeah.
Right. Well, because we are like unique divine sparks.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, of course, we wouldn't be alike, because the divine wants to experience itself in every single way. That's why there's so many of us.
That's right.
Yes.
We're like, I love that. Let's have another.
And I love to say that we have our own unique energy signature. Like a fingerprint. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Our own unique. So we no two alike, meaning we don't heal the same way. And it's also super important to have like like a group of healers, not
team.
I really am a huge advocate to that.
Me too.
Because you need to. It's like, really, do you really just need one pair of shoes? No, I'm a shoe wearer,
No.
so you gotta have a bunch of different kind, right, for different occasions, right? No, but I'm joking. But with healers, you want to have different healers in different ways, and your body is going to communicate that to you. Your spirit's going to tell you that. Yeah.
And they serve different purposes.
Absolutely.
And it's cool to kind of compare notes against, you know, the different people that you work with, because it helps. At the end of the day, at least for me, it's helped me to better understand what I need to heal and, you know, what I need to do to change my my daily routines and my practices, what I need to do to integrate, you know, from this healer, this little practice that I learned over here. It's like, ooh, I can take that into my daily practice, and it's just it's a growth mindset, and you continue to, you know, pick and choose and learn from the others, and it makes you a unique healer.
Yes, definitely. Because we learn from each other. Yeah, we learn. It's so rich when we do that, when we come together and our focus is assisting and helping, and then sharing our own journey, our own path, our own experiences to affirm it in someone else. I mean, there's a beautiful exchange that you get to have validation from yourself and the universe, saying that was not for just nothing. You didn't experience that just for nothing. Your story, your experience, your blood, sweat, and tears actually is going to help release someone from their own constraints, their own self-judgment, their own self-condemnation, just by you telling this story about yourself, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It gives us permission to actually heal with no limitation.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we need each other.
And authenticity is very important.
Oh, yeah.
Honesty, authenticity, because that's what you're talking about. It's just being real.
That's right.
And there's like the feeling behind all of that. If you're working with someone who, you know, you feel like you're being judged, or you just feel like you want to pull away from them, or, you know, you don't feel good around these people, that's, your body is always talking to you.
That's
so
right.
Pay attention. That's your intuition. That's your body
trying
to yell at you.
Yeah.
Red flag. And, you know, I think that's really important. That's how you also kind of keep yourself stuck in those in that victim mentality or that dependent loop with healers, because when you're in that space, your mindset is very, very different.
Yes.
Too. So, you know, when you start to shift, and you were saying it is a very physical, literal shift that happens, and you start to see like the light of day, and start to question like, well, why am I feeling? Why do I feel like bad around this person?
That's right.
You know, start to question those feelings and honor what you're feeling, because it's real.
That's right. People can sense and feel and know bullshit. Yeah. It doesn't matter how many degrees that individual has. It does not matter.
Trust yourself.
They're not being authentic, and this is not. It's no. It's a no, and your body's communicating that. And you could, you know, book how many sessions or whatever, you know, retreat or program or process they have for you, and you put the money out and you do all of that, and you get to the end of that and you don't have the results where you could go see someone who's in alignment with your energy, that is in authenticity, that is operating out of truth, and you're going to have results immediately. That's the difference. Yeah. And you're going to know that. You're going to feel that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this was good.
I think so too.
That's really good.
What else?
All right.
Did we want to talk about anything specific around what we maybe had to do or go through, experience-wise?
Well, I'm laughing. I'm all. We're going to be here for 2 days, man. If I start talking.
Like, well, I was in the hospital.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can share a little bit. Yeah. I was just saying earlier, I feel like a lot of the start of my healing journey was very much in like the mental, emotional space. Dealing with like talk therapy, and having to really work through depression, anxiety, OCD, and it's amazing. You know, I felt like at the time I got a lot from the talk therapy, and it's, you know, I was met where I was at, but also being very drawn to natural healing and ancient healing, you know, is where that path started to split. You know, I had found one therapist who kind of had the language around both, and, you know, she got me so far, and then, you know, I split farther and farther away from the conventional therapies and more into, I guess, holistic healing spaces, and just really, I learned everything that I could and integrated, you know, what was working for me at the time, and I feel like it's a lot of, like when you have to face your fear, I can't think of what it's called, but like if you're afraid of heights,
go high.
So it was a lot of that, like specifically with like OCD tendencies, like everything for me had to be perfectly straight, perfectly centered, not touching, angles had to be, you know, and like exposure therapy. So, you know, something that I took from talk therapy and then started doing for myself, because it's a constant, like, I'm constantly in a growth mindset and a healing and wanting to improve, so it's always going on in my head. I'm always checking myself, so, you know, I would hang up a picture and let it be crooked, and, you know, really work through, well, why does that bother me so much? You know, until you figure out what it is, and you heal that part of yourself that has a problem with a crooked picture. And, you know, and then that is, for me, how so much space has been cleared and just decluttered in my mind to allow all these other amazing, wonderful things to come in, because it's not consumed with, oh my God, did I lock the door? Now I need to turn around, go back home, and double check, you know, and it's just your, like, that monkey mind.
Yes, for sure. So, and we lock the door.
There was not real panic in that. Or, you know, if I didn't lock the door, I'm like, you know,
it's okay.
It's, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. I love that. It's a great point.
Yeah.
And so things that would usually plague us or pull us down or keep us stuck, our energy stuck there. Like you said, it's the mental realm, the emotional realm, right? And it's on a loop, like what you said earlier. But again, when we're paying attention to something and putting our energy into it, it is literally giving it power. So when you make a shift, because your consciousness is shifting, right? And you're having a greater understanding of knowing that there is holistic practices out there that target the fact that you are body, mind, and spirit, and they're steeped and rooted in ancient healing practices, right? It brings freedom.
Yeah, and I think that goes along with the healer will bring you back to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not about
totally
them pointing things out to you or telling you what it is.
Yes.
It's almost like the healer will bring you back to yourself.
Always.
You know,
That's so important.
Does that make sense?
Yes, always. Always. Because it is about you. Yeah, absolutely. And that's how you know. That's how
Yeah.
you know you're in good hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And healing yourself.
That's
That's
what
right.
a lot of times, like, good healers will challenge you and
Mhm.
make you upset sometimes too. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
me? You know.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're capable of until you get pushed a little.
Challenge.
Yeah, you get pushed. That's right. But it's
Not
always
all
in
rainbows
love.
and butterflies.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's always in love.
Yes.
It's
Love.
always in that space of love and understanding and complete acceptance. And that's another subject.
Mhm.
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Next
a really
week.
good one. Yeah, next week. That's
Next
right.
week at Mama Santi's house. Acceptance.
So good. So good. I love it. I love
It
it.
makes me think of that. Magic or magic? Magic? Magic?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I feel like I want to go a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I want to talk about, like, making that decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, making the decision that
Mm.
the picture is crooked, so I'm going to decide to leave it crooked.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Sit in the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because it's very
challenging
uncomfortable.
yourself.
Yes.
If you're
Yeah.
OCD and you got a crooked picture in your house.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Like, it took me like I've got an octagon table at home.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me at least a week of walking by it and listening to everything that's going on in my head, that it doesn't look good, it doesn't fit, just take it back, because it's got 8 sides.
Mhm.
So not everything's going to line up with the lines in the floor or the wall or the diagonal couch. Something's going to be off and crooked.
Mm-hmm.
And for at least a week, going insane, and sitting in that uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what so much of my healing has been, is learning to sit in the uncomfortable and be okay with it. Because at the end of the day, it's a table.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
It
going to
just
be
is.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, acceptance.
Mhm.
Just accept it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side of that, I noticed one day, I walked by and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about the table. This is amazing. So,
Freedom.
Yay.
Yes. Total
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
that was kind of the catalyst for everything else in my house being crooked.
Yeah.
And loving
It's so
it.
good. It's so
And
good.
just being okay with.
Mhm.
And when you start to do that, in my experience too, it's not just that one particular part of your life. It flows over into everything.
It always does.
So things just start
That's right.
being
Healing
okay.
transmutes
Yes.
to every aspect.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And just the space in my mind that has been cleared from all of the just the racing thoughts, the stuff that's constantly going on.
Mhm.
It's more passing thoughts now. I am not putting my attention, I'm not putting my power
Mhm.
and attention, which is very powerful,
Yes.
into stuff that just, it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So now my attention can go and actually, be
Yeah.
very powerful in another way. Manifesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I'm getting right now is just that. So there is a saying that we say. I practice hot yoga, and you're literally holding positions for 1 minute each in a room that's like 106 degrees, 110 sometimes. But they say get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's how you push through limitations, and that's also how you are able. That's how you're able to also. On the other side of that, like on the other side of that is you in a mastery form. So
I love that.
you're
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're taking something that would restrict your energy and keep you confounded and locked up, because like with Kristen, her story of the OCD thing, that mental energy and then the emotions that came with it, and then her focusing on that was her energy was focused on that. So when there's an understanding of how that process works within you as an individual, you can learn to master, and you take that power back, and you can pick and choose what you want to put your energy towards. Mm-hmm. So again, you are the creator of your own reality. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yes.
And the sense of accomplishment and pride too. That
for
also,
sure.
Like the other side, going. I don't know what the phrase is. Going, you have to go through.
Yes, that's right.
You can't, there's no bypassing healing.
No shortcuts.
There's no shortcuts.
You don't warp.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No warp tunnels.
No warp tunnels.
No.
You can try, but you'll waste your time.
That's right. That's right.
But there's something, and that's how I feel like you know that you are truly healing yourself too, is that amazing feeling of accomplishment and
so good.
And
freedom.
Pride and freedom
totally.
and happiness
and liberation.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
absolutely.
Yep.
And feeling powerful in your own skin.
Yes.
Being in your own body and feeling just present and loving yourself, like creating, promoting that self-love. And I mean, you come to that place of, wow, I'm actually happy in my own body, my own being, like who I am.
Yeah, who was talking about that? I think I was talking about that the other day, about unconditional love, how a lot of us don't feel worthy of unconditional love.
Yeah.
Because we were taught by whatever it was, conditioned, that we're not worthy.
Yeah.
But we have to love ourselves, and we deserve that unconditional love, because we are beautiful in every aspect.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And I think everything is wonderful with love in it. Like I love to cook, so when I'm cooking and everyone's like, "Why does your food taste so good?" I'm like, "'Cause I put love in it."
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I make sure I'm very in tune and intentional when I'm cooking.
That's right.
What am I thinking? Where's my energy? Which way am I stirring the pot?
Yes,
different
for
things
sure.
like that. Yeah,
That's
very intentional.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it's so good. It's so true. Yeah. And all these principles, but I love it. I love what you're saying too about feeling accomplished. Yeah. And this is what you've done for you. That's the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you've done, because you're worth it.
I was just say that. Because you're worth it.
Yeah.
And gosh,
you're
so
good. So good. Yes, so good. I love it.
Yeah.
But this is what healing looks like.
Yeah, this is what it looks like.
Totally. Yep. We're vibing and flowing.
Yeah, I think the experience, like, what is it? So what we had to do or experience to become healers is live.
Yeah. That's right.
And be honest with ourselves. What are we going through? Like the lows are lows and the highs are highs, and and it just is what it is.
And it's always going to be like
experience. That. Yeah.
You were talking about, we all go through cycles.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
What I've noticed for me is, it used to be very high and very low, and it's always going to be this ebb and flow. But now it's not as dramatic. It's much more, it's much closer to my baseline, which is wonderful. And if it's not, then it's like jolting, like what's going on.
And I think for you, just for like my observation of watching you heal and practice and do all these things, which is amazing, because I see you finding your feet or finding your footing, and it's so unique and it's so original and it's so geared to who you are. And I'm watching how like the universe, the divine is keeps handing you things that are yours. Like it's like been waiting for you. Like this has been waiting. Like all this time it's been waiting, right? And you like pick up your drum and it's like, oh my God, this is meant to be. Like it is a part of me, right? And all those things. So much medicine in that. But and it's uniquely your energy signature. But what I love is that you literally feel so authentically real for who you are now, body, mind, and spirit. It's not you trying to do a program or like a 12-step or anything like that. It's not through someone else's eyes. This is you. You're calling the shots. You're saying what you need when you need
You're
it.
building your program.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
there's
amazing.
there's
Yeah.
so many levels to this.
Yeah.
So many levels. Yeah. But
Beautiful.
yeah, we can just keep going.
I know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Oh, is it 12? 12:04. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Are we good?
Yeah. So we're going to do this again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Join us next week. We will be doing these once a week.
Yes.
I think that it's gonna start. I would just like to be popping in live and just like dropping knowledge and
Yeah.
information and stuff like that, because
sure.
we truly just want to be super honest and authentic, and like if our stories can help you heal yourself or
Yes.
help you with whatever it is you're
Yeah.
Stuff.
up against right
Yes.
now
Yes.
or living through or
Yes.
your stuff, we want to be here for you,
Yes.
because that's what life is all about. Like just all of us being super authentic and just sharing our experience, so we can take what is necessary and leave what's not, and put it in our medicine pouch and like use that in our life and stuff.
Yes,
So
for sure.
thank you so much.
Yes.
I love you guys so
Love
much.
you.
And we will see you later.
Have a wonderful day.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.